Coach Pete Medhurst, Navy Radio Network. Just one question for you. How do you digest the analytical data from this game? Because Navy football is 41 minutes of time of possession and 300 yards rushing. How do you accept that and evaluate that with the end results, obviously, of not finishing a lot of those drives on Saturday?
Well, you just said it, Pete. Not finishing, I think, 1 for 5 in the red zone. And against a team like that, you got to score, because we've played potent offenses like that before, but you score. So you put some pressure on them. You put some pressure on the play caller. You put some pressure on the quarterback. But when you don't score, then you're a little bit more free on offense. You know what I mean? You're not pressing as much. And so you're moving the ball. We didn't execute in the red zone, and so we that's the hardest part. The digestive part of it is you got to score. And we've normally been pretty good in the red zone. That's, the one thing that we're good at. But you're right. You're trying to digest that 92 plays. We had close to 400 yards rushing, take out the sacks. But it doesn't matter. You got to score when you get in the red zone. So those are the things. We got to be able to execute. You can't make mistakes, especially, again, against a team like that that's really good on offense. They're the number 1 rushing defense in the country last year, so they're a good defense. But yeah, just disappointed we didn't finish, but that's the lesson from last week. You gotta finish.
Thanks, sir.
Let's go to Scott Wyckoff, WBAL.
Hey, Coach. Scott Wyckoff with WBAL Radio in Baltimore and the Navy Radio Network. What does it mean to you to be honoring the memories of those who are lost on 9/11 and so many of the families that were impacted, being able to coach a team at the Naval Academy on this 20th anniversary?
Very humbling, as a program, personally, to be able to do this, to pay respect to, those that lost their lives in 9/11, not only on that tragic day, but, the conflicts that came because of it. That was obviously that day changed our country forever. So it's great to be able to play in the game to remember those people and to honor them. But very humbling, Scott.
What do you remember from that day 20 years ago personally?
I was in Vegas coaching. I just remember seeing it on CNN. Just first of all, you see the first one. All you saw is just, the live updates that, a plane hit. But I think when we first thought, all of us thought that it was an accident. Just as you're watching it live, like, oh man, the plane, ran into the tower. But then a lot of us saw the second one hit the tower. Oh, this isn't an accident. Just surreal, just very surreal. My brother was working in the Pentagon, or stationed in the Pentagon during that time. Fortunately, he wasn't there during that time, but just very stressful, horrific time for all of us, that day.
Growing up in Hawaii, Pearl Harbor was such a part of the history of your life growing up there, such a connection that you have. Is it something that you kind of feel for the people of New York, knowing that your family was a part of something that was so horrific?
Yeah, and I've been to Ground Zero a couple of times. To be able to go there and see that place, it's a very somber feeling, to go there and just to think of those that lost their lives on that tragic day. But the memorial that's there now in New York City to remember them is, I don't have a better word. It's just very sad.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Let's go to Olivia Garvey.
Hey, Coach. Olivia Garvey, 7 News Sports, DC. Just kind of bouncing off Scott's question about, playing on September 11th. A lot of your players were not even born yet, or they were just too young to remember what happened. Of course, they've been taught about that day, that tragic day. What have you kind of told them about, playing on September 11th, the significance of it, the significance of everyone watching that's going to be there, who will be watching on TV? What have you shared with them? Maybe that, playing on September 11th is more than just playing a football game.
Olivia, I haven't shared anything with him yet. I mean, I will though, once we have our meetings. Prior to this, it was all about getting ready for Marshall. But since that game, obviously, we're turning all of our focus towards Air Force. And then I will discuss that, though. I will talk with our team about the significance of playing a 9/11. And like you said, I'm sure most of them have studied it, too young to remember it or know what exactly happened. But it will be part of our preparation and talking about that, how special this day is.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Kareem Copeland, Washington Post.
Again, Kareem Copeland, Washington Post. Can you update us on Ty's injury?
Right now, he's got his MRI, doesn't look too good. We'll kind of see how things go today. Fortunately, no surgery is required, so we'll just kind of see how he feels today out there.
Oh, so he'll at least be able to kind of go through practice, you're hoping?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. The trainer said he's still pretty sore. We're just grateful that there's no surgery required. But we'll kind of see, when we get out there today.
Mm-hmm. When you went back and looked at the tape, what did you think about the quarterback play in general from both?
I thought they did some good things. I thought some things they could have done better. I thought Xavier came in and played really well. He ran the option really well. Both missed some throws. Both made some throws, but I thought Xavier came in and played well. He did some good things. I thought he did some good things when he came in there. We're hoping for Ty to make a couple more of those throws, but they both did some good things. But I thought Xavier did some really good stuff during that game.
If Ty can go, is it still his job, or are you evaluating again this week?
No, we're definitely evaluating that.
Mm-hmm. And just kind of one more from me. I'm just curious, what's the kind of the vibe of the team right now? It seemed like a couple of the guys kind of took it a little bit hard. I know it had to be frustrating considering, you guys talked so much about having a normal camp and getting back to normality, and there's a lot of excitement on that. And then when it doesn't go your way, it seems like there's going to be some frustration. Do you get to feel the guys are able to kind of move on pretty quickly from that one, the old 24-hour rule, or did this one kind of hit home a little bit more?
I mean, it hurts. I mean, you try your best in this profession to move on. You have to move on because the next game's coming, and we got the biggest game of the season coming up with Air Force. So you got to get ready for we got two main games obviously every year, and this is the first leg, so it's a huge, huge game for our program. But that one hurt. I mean, it's easier said than done bouncing back. You have to though. You have to move forward. But if it doesn't hurt, and if it doesn't, if it's not painful, then probably shouldn't be playing this sport. You probably shouldn't be coaching. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to bounce back from, but you have no alternative. I mean, that's the only thing you can do. So, our jobs as coaches, first and foremost for ourselves, is to press forward. But if you got any pride in yourself, I mean, that was a punch in the face, man. And just that was hard. That was hard to take that. And so you have to come back. We're a very proud program. We've won a lot of games. To lose like that's, a blow to your pride. But again, we have to move on. We have to use the frustration, whatever the terms you use that to catapult us forward to get better and to improve. You can't really wallow in it and feel sorry for yourself. But to get beat like that was hard. That was a hard pill to swallow.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Ken. Kareem.
Bill Wagner.
Hey, Coach. Just real quickly back to Ty. Do you have any? How did that happen? He was a play. He was not with the ball. He was not carrying the ball. That was a James Harris run. Did he just some guy hit him, or was it? I didn't quite see what happened.
He got leg whipped by a defender, but it wasn't purposely. But the defender was going stack, and his legs spun around and like leg whipped him. And so, I mean, it wasn't a dirty shot or anything. It was just the guy was trying to tackle B back, and his legs swung around and hit him in the lower leg, hit him in the knees.
Coming into this game, obviously they're a much different offense than Marshall. In a way, is there some comfort? I mean, this is right in your comfort zone as far as you all. Nobody plays the option better than a Navy or any service academy, and it's going to be smash mouth type football. I mean, I think this is kind of stuff your defense relishes, wouldn't you say?
Well, our defense likes playing against the other stuff too. I mean, we see that all every week. Besides the service academy games, that's what what Marshall does is what everybody in our league does. I mean, it's not any different. But I don't know if comfort's the right word. It's a service academy game. This is for everything, and so it's our guys recognize that, and and we're we got to get ready for this one. We know who they are. They know who we are, and it's going to be a big game.
Two players I was going to ask you about that they have on offense. Daniels, the quarterback, I thought he played pretty well against you last season. And then Roberts, the fullback, he's been around, a pretty productive player. Are those two guys you got to make sure you contain?
I mean, that's always the case in option football. You got to stop, the dive first and then the quarterback. And they do a really good job of getting their fullback involved in the game, different ways of getting him involved in the game, different schemes to get him the ball, based on what you're doing. They do a lot of good things formationally to try to, spring their quarterback. And like you said, Daniels played well against us last year. And so, yes, we have to find a way to stop those two guys. It's always a key in option football. We got to get our fullback going and our quarterback going for us offensively, and same thing for them. That's a given anytime you play option football.
The home team has won 8 straight meetings between Air Force and Navy. Obviously, you want to keep that streak alive and beat them for a 5th time in Navy Marine Corps.
No doubt. We need that streak to keep going.
Last for me for now, in terms of playing the game a month earlier than normal, this is very odd. You'd normally play them in early October. Sometimes you even have a bye before you play them. This has got to be a strange. You roll from season opener to Air Force in the second week of September.
Yeah, but they knew about it. We knew about it. And so we planned accordingly for it. And so it's, we recognize this game would come earlier. And so, it is what it is. It is a little different, but, it's not like we just got sprung, this is brand new news that we just got last week. So, it is what it is.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Phil Bergman.
Coach, just to go into a little more detail on September 11th, you're not just playing on September 11th, you're playing a fellow service academy on this day. Just what does that mean?
Well, it's it's twofold. There's great honor in playing on 9/11 because all that transpired and what this game is about, and to play at the service academies, obviously, for 2 schools to do things to remember our country, 2 schools that serve our country, 2 schools that went into action because of the events of 9/11 on 2001. And so there's a lot of significance in that. But also as far as playing the service academy, it's always a huge game, whatever day it's on, whether it's in October, early September. But like you said, the significance of playing on 9/11 on the 20th year anniversary of it is very special, and playing against the service academy is also very special.
There's going to be a lot of talk around John Kelly heading into the game, just with his connection through his father and September 11th. Just what has John meant to the program, and just how special is he to everything that's going on right now?
He's who we are. John is a Navy football player that represents his family, his school, our program, our country in the right way. He's a hard worker. He's a great kid. And he does what he's asked to do. He's tough as nails. He's a great American.
Thank you.
You can.
Graham Knight.
Coach Graham Knight from Behind the Lines, the Academy Football Report. I'm going to kind of stick with where Phil was a few minutes ago, and speaking about John Kelly, but taking it even one step further. The 2001 Navy team had several players from that team graduate, go on into combat, and make the ultimate sacrifice. I don't know that the bar could get any higher, but I'm just kind of curious. Does that add anything more to the game or the significance?
I mean, we always, honor those that have, for everybody that have paid the ultimate sacrifice on that day. Those that sacrificed, like you said, Graham, after those of our brothers, because of the conflict of 9/11, I think the conflicts that happened after that, when it served in Iraq, the different things that happened, it definitely means a lot for our football program. So we definitely pay tribute and honor them. Well, like I've been saying earlier, we're representing all Americans, but it does hit close home for us because the guys that have, played in our program.
Yeah, and so switch a little bit out of 9/11 and get to a question Bill Wagner asked a few times last season. Coach, what about getting the ball to the outside? I saw Navy get to the outside a fair bit, and as Pete was talking about earlier, had some really good production. As you mentioned as well, Ty looked really composed in the Army-Navy game. He was on, I think, the 1 or 2 yard line, and I think had 4 cracks getting across the goal line. That's a play that still drives him today. He got across the goal line in the end. So I'm curious about your reaction to seeing Navy get the ball to the outside this year, and also his composure.
You mean Xavier?
Xavier.
Yeah, sorry, Xavier.
Yeah, I thought he did some good things. I thought he did some good things, played well, and we're going to have to play, obviously, a lot better to, have a chance to win this week. But pleased with the way he played. But he has to get better. We have to coach him better. I have to coach better. Our whole team has to get better, to beat Air Force this week.
Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks,
Joe
Ryan.
Miller.
Hey, Coach. Joe Miller, Navy Radio Network. Obviously, you were asked about Ty, but overall, how's the health of the team coming out of the first week after Marshall?
We're banged up, but everybody is after the first game. Your normal bumps and bruises, all things. But I think for the most part, we're okay. But it's football. It's a physical game. And so I think for the most part, we're okay. Hopefully expect everybody to be able to play at this point. But we'll find a lot more today. We're getting ready to have our meetings and walkthroughs here in a little bit, and we'll have a better indication where everybody's at.
Wags talked about, the home field advantage. And one of the weird things that's always hard for me to figure out is you guys have had so much success offensively here, but have struggled to score points in Colorado Springs. How do you sort of rectify that? How have you guys kind of gone over things? And in one sense, here in Annapolis, you've been able to put a lot of points up, but haven't been able to score in Colorado Springs. How do you explain that?
I don't know. I'm just trying to get ready for this one. Not really thinking, I don't know. Just, we're just trying to get ready for this one this Saturday. Just, it's a good point, but I don't know.
That's all for me. Thanks, Coach.
Hi, Joe.
Okay, we have 4 minutes left. Brent Brigham in Colorado Springs is that. Do you have anything, Brent?
Yeah, I was just curious. Last year, Air Force seemed to really use the schedule to its advantage. The way, they had 2 months to prepare. This year, they only had to play an FCS team. Do they have an advantage in that regard again, because they may have been able to put a little more focus on you guys while you were preparing for Marshall?
I don't think so, but I think we're even. I think it's a normal year. I guess my normal thoughts are it's normal. We both had an opponent. We both knew the schedule. We've both been practicing since our training since January. So I think in my mind, everything's been normal this year. It's, we both have a schedule. We both had a first game. The game is earlier, Brent, than normal, but I don't think so. I think it's the same. We both played at home. So I think to this point, I think it's the same.
Okay. And then, with Air Force making efforts to increase their profile in the Service Academy games, this game being on CBS, playing on 9/11, and then the game against Army going to Dallas. What are your thoughts on that? Because obviously that's a huge advantage Army Navy have because your game is so prestigious. Air Force is trying to get its games into that same sort of conversation. Do you have any thoughts on, what that could mean down the road?
Well, I think, they're both very big games for us. And so, having the Air Force, in our game, on a big profile, I think that's great for the game. We've had, our battles over the years, with them over the years. And so it's been, a really heated rivalry. It has gone back and forth. And so I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that there's more spotlight put on it. I don't know. The Army Navy game, just I guess with the tradition of it is, I guess it's hard to parallel that just because the game's been around for so long. But we know how good Air Force is. Obviously Army's on top right now. They have the trophy. So, but having this game a little bit more higher profile, I think is awesome for the game.
Okay. And then the last thing, with Air Force's defense having so much new personnel mixed in from 2 years ago, what has the preparation been like in terms of just evaluating personnel because they have the turnbacks and now they're, it's just a weird mix of personnel they have right now.
Well, I thought they played well last week, just watching the film. Obviously last year they had a bunch of young guys and they got after us, so we know the guys that are coming back, they played against us, prior years. They're really good players. And so I know from a playing standpoint, they're going to be good players. And, Coach Calhoun's got a really good staff. They're really good coaches. And so they'll be ready to go. They'll find a way to get them, the chemistry right. And like I said, they looked fine last week.
Okay.
What does it mean for you to be playing for the Naval Academy against Air Force on the 20th anniversary of 9/11?
Yeah, it's a huge honor. Just playing the CIC games in general is awesome. It's a great experience, and it's one of the main reasons that maybe football players come to the academy to play. But just the meaning behind this game, playing on 9/11 on the 20th anniversary, it's a huge deal just to honor the people that gave their lives to, save others.
You grew up 25 miles from ground zero. How has 9/11 impacted you and your family over the years?
Yeah, it's definitely changed our lives a lot. I was really young. I was only 2 years old when it happened. But, I have a lot of friends that their lives were affected by it, with family members that work in the city and people that were in the city when it happened and we're trying to save lives there. So it's definitely just being from New Jersey and being in the area, it's affected me a good amount.
And also your teammate, John Kelly from the area, a father who was a firefighter who went to ground zero. That must be very inspirational to play alongside him.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, John, he's definitely a Staten Island kid. You can tell by his accent. But yeah, and John comes from a great family. His dad's a great guy. And just the sacrifices that he made, his dad as a firefighter on that day, it means a lot to everybody.
This will be your third game against Air Force Academy. What's impressed you the most about facing them?
Yeah, they come to play for sure. Offensively, they have an athletic quarterback. You saw last year. They gave it to us pretty good. So they're going to come to play. We know that they're a physical team, some good athletes, and they're good up front. So we're looking forward to the challenge.
I know Coach Newberry always, when we preview the Air Force game, talks about the importance of eye discipline. What does that mean? Yeah,
that's the biggest part of these games, especially these CIC games. When your eyes can deceive you in these, against Air Force's offense. Coach Newberry talks a lot about seeing a little and seeing a lot. So if you try to see everything and the whole play going on, you're not going to see a lot of things. Everything's going to be going every which way. But if you just focus on your key and do your job, we'll be just fine.
And finally, how fired up are you to have another awesome Under Armour uniform to wear?
Yeah, those things are sweet. The Marine Corps inspired uniform. So I'm looking forward to wearing those on Saturday.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. Good luck.
Thanks, Scott.
Bill Wagner.
Kevin, I don't want to dwell on Saturday too much, but did you watch the film?
Yep, I did.
Anything in particular that you, in hindsight, defensively you thought were issues, or which led to their, 333 passing yards?
Yeah, I mean, you saw it out on the field. We got off to a slow start, and for whatever reason, whatever that is, but we have things to fix and move forward with, but we're really just focusing on Air Force now.
So with regard to Air Force, I don't know why there's an echo like that. They're a entirely different team than Marshall. I mean, instead of fast paced, throwing it all around, they're going to be running the triple. Is that, in a way, I don't want to say comforting, but I mean, it's kind of back to what you guys are very much accustomed to.
Yeah, I mean, we go against it during spring ball and during camp. It's what we run on offense. It's similar, a little different in different ways, but in general, it's not like other teams where a team that isn't a service academy has a week to prepare for an Air Force or an Army or us. So it's definitely, we've been going against it all spring, all fall camp. So we're just going to hone in on the details this week and get ready to get after them.
And how much are you all seeking revenge after what happened last year?
Yeah, we definitely have a sick taste in our mouth. It just, after what happened last year, I think, just our senior class, we don't want to go out like that, and it's on all of us to get it together this week and just do our job every play.
And then the quarterback, Daniels, he had a nice game last year. He's a pretty talented player. What do you think of him?
Yeah, he's a good athlete. I think he's a very good option quarterback. He read our defense well, made the right checks, and we got exposed sometimes last year against him. So he's a good athlete. We'll have to contain him, but we're looking forward to the challenge. Navy
has a 4-game winning streak over Air Force in Annapolis. How important is it to maintain that?
Yeah, it's huge. Just defending our home. We didn't do that last week, but we take a lot of pride in playing in Navy Marine Corps Stadium. So whenever they come to town, any team that comes to Annapolis, we look to defend our home and take a lot of pride in it.
And this game's being played about a month earlier than normal. Is that at all, strange for you all? I mean, do you usually, you're not worrying about Air Force until October. Is that causing any issues?
No, I wouldn't say so. We've known about when the game would be for a while now. So I don't think there are any issues with it.
All right. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you.
Phil Bergman.
I'm good. My questions have been asked already. Thank you.
Kareem Copeland.
Hey, Kevin.
How you doing?
Not too bad. Just wanted to, one more just from last week. I know we're moving on, but I'm curious. Was there much that you guys, once you went back and looked at the tape, were there things that you guys were happy about? I know overall it didn't work out well, but were there a few things that you guys said, okay, hey, we did this well?
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely bright spots. It wasn't all negative from the game. By the score, you probably think it would be. 49-7 isn't a great showing. Anytime you get 49 put up on you in the first game as a defense, but we caused a couple turnovers. There were balls on the ground that we could have gotten and didn't. We had a couple 3 and outs. So, it's not all negative from the Marshall game. We're just gonna, learn what we need to from the game and take the positives and keep rolling.
And that was just one last thing for me. That's what I was going to ask. What was the message kind of going into this week as far as putting that behind you and kind of moving forward?
Yeah, there's no time to dwell on the past, really. We need to, see what we did wrong, move forward. I think defensively we'll be playing a totally different defense as we always do against Air Force, just because of their style of offense. So, we'll just learn from our mistakes, keep moving forward, but we don't have time to dwell on the past.
Cool. Quick and easy for me. I appreciate you.
Sweet. Thank you.
Sorry, Graham Knight.
Kevin, couple of questions for you. Let's go to 9/11 first. Some of the players from the 2001 Navy team went on to combat and lost their lives in combat. I'm kind of curious, how does that feel? And does that make the game even that much more meaningful?
Yeah, I mean, just the magnitude surrounding the game, it really can't be described, honestly. Just the lives that were lost as a result of 9/11, on that day and in the years that followed. You can't, I really can't, I wouldn't do it justice, trying to describe what it means to play on 9/11. But at the end of the day, we're playing Air Force, and it's a football game. It's another football game. That's kind of the way that I kind of compartmentalize it in my head, not to put too much pressure. But it's definitely, there's going to be a lot of emotion, and the day is going to be a huge day.
Hey, speaking of emotion, I'm curious, you guys marched into the stadium, you came into fans in the stands, you got to run in towards the brigade. What was that like after playing the last year?
Yeah, it was awesome. Having my family there, just being a senior, and what we missed last year with that, it was awesome. I was definitely a little emotional, just walking down coming off the bus and into the locker room, and then just having all the fans there. It was awesome. And we didn't get the result we wanted, but we know that Navy fans are there for us, and they're behind us, and we're going to keep pushing for them.
Yeah, well, you still had a pretty nice pick. So anyway, Kevin, thank you. Best of luck this coming weekend.
Yep, thank you.
Air Force has like 35 players coming back after taking last season off. Can you talk about that from a Navy standpoint? That's a little strange in service academy realms that guys redshirt basically.
Yeah, that's definitely a little weird. I'd never, we've never experienced that. Just obviously last year was unprecedented times. So they're able to do that, but I mean, it doesn't really affect us at all in our preparation. They're going to put their best 11 on the field. We're going to put our best 11, and we're going to go at it. So whoever that is, doesn't really matter.